Have you noticed this lately? Same grocery cart, same brand, same routine, but when you get to the register, the total is higher than it used to be. You didn't change anything, you didn't start living fancy, but the number on the screen keeps creeping up. That strange, uneasy feeling you get in your stomach when you see that total, that's what this video is really about. Because if you're over 50 and sitting on a big pile of cash, the biggest retirement mistake you might be making isn't spending too much. It's letting your cash quietly lose strength while you think it's safe. Your money isn't disappearing. It's getting weaker. And if nobody has ever explained that to you in simple, honest language, stay with me. Over the next few minutes, I want to show you a calm, simple way to protect your lifestyle without panic, without gambling, and without turning your retirement into a roller coaster. Before we go too far, let me introduce myself. I'm George Edward, and this is George Edward Explains. If you're over 50 in the United States and you want your money to last as long as you do, go ahead and subscribe right now and turn on notifications. This channel is made for regular people, not Wall Street hotshots. We talk in plain English. We respect the fact that you worked decades for what you have. And in this video, I'm going to show you why too much cash can quietly hurt you, and what you can do about it with a simple 3-bucket plan that even a grandparent can understand and actually use. Let me start with a line from Warren Buffett, one of the most famous investors of all time. He once said that inflation swindles almost everybody. Think about that word, swindles. He didn't say annoys or bothers. He said it cheats people. That means you can do nothing wrong. You can be careful and responsible and still slowly get cheated if you don't understand what inflation does to cash. And I want to be very clear, my goal today is not to scare you. It's to wake you up, then calm you down with a simple plan. By the time we're done, you'll see exactly what cash should do for you and what it should not do. Let me tell you a quick story. Let's call her Linda. Linda is 62. She did what most of us were told to do. She worked hard, raised her family, paid off most of the house, saved in her 401k, kept some money in the bank, just in case. On a Thursday morning, she goes to the grocery store like she has for years. Same list, same brands, same eggs, bread, milk, some meat, some fresh fruit, a few things for her grandkids. She pushes the cart up to the register, chats politely with the cashier, and then she looks at the total, and she pauses. That can't be right, she thinks. She doesn't say it out loud, but inside she feels it. A year or two ago, this same cart cost less. She knows it. She feels like the store is playing tricks on her, even though she knows they're not. Later that month, her car insurance renewal comes in the mail. The coverage is the same. The car is older, not newer, but the premium is higher. Property taxes go up. The electric bill is up. The water bill has a few more fees. Even her prescription costs nudge up a bit when she checks out at the pharmacy. Nothing dramatic on its own, just a few dollars here, a few dollars there. But they all point in the same direction, up. And one night, Linda sits at her kitchen table with a cup of tea, her bills spread out in front of her, and she whispers to herself, "I thought retirement was supposed to feel calmer than this." If you relate to that at all, you're not alone. Groceries, car insurance, property taxes, utilities, prescriptions, those are not luxury items. Those are basic everyday expenses. When those go up, it doesn't just hit your wallet. It hits your peace of mind. Retirement is supposed to be the phase of life where your time opens up, where you finally breathe. But rising prices can make retirement feel tighter, not looser. That's why another old investing quote hits home here. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. When prices keep rising, the value you get from each dollar in your pocket shrinks. The dollars are the same size, but what they buy is not. So what's really going on here? Let's talk about inflation in very simple terms. Picture a crisp $100 bill. Years ago, that bill might have covered a full grocery trip, a dinner out, and a tank of gas. Today, in many cases, that same $100 might barely cover the groceries. The paper didn't change. The number printed on it didn't change. But what you can get in return did. That's inflation. It's not a monster under the bed. It's not something to shout about on TV. It's a slow, steady rise in prices over time. But here's the important part. If your money is just sitting in cash, doing nothing, every year inflation takes a tiny bite out of what that money can do for you. Now, why does this hit people over 50 and especially over 60 so much harder? If you're younger, inflation is annoying, but you have decades of work and earnings ahead of you. You can adjust, you can earn more, you can move, change careers, pick up extra hours. If you're over 50, you may be moving toward retirement or already there. Your working years are shorter. Your energy is different. Your health becomes more important. You're not just protecting a number in an account. You're protecting your lifestyle and your health care and, frankly, your time. Time becomes more precious than money as we age. So when inflation silently eats away at your cash, it's not just numbers on a screen that are shrinking. It's your choices. I like to think of inflation as a silent bill that shows up every single year. You pay the electric bill, the water bill, the phone bill, and then inflation knocks. It doesn't come as a separate envelope in the mail. It's baked into every other bill. It's baked into the grocery total, the insurance premium, the property tax assessment. And if your money is just sitting in a checking account or in a low-interest savings account, it's like you're letting that silent bill draft directly from your future. Warren Buffett put it this way: the inflation tax has a powerful ability to just consume capital. In plain English, that means if you sit in cash too long, inflation slowly eats what you've built. Now let me pause and give you some good news. You are not powerless here. You don't have to predict the stock market. You don't have to become a day trader. You do not need to sit glued to CNBC all day. You simply need to understand the basic purpose of investing and what role cash is supposed to play. Once you see that clearly, a lot of the fear around investing starts to fade because it's no longer about excitement or guessing. It's about protecting your purchasing power so you can keep living the way you want. Here's a mindset shift that can change everything. Investing, especially for people over 50, is not about excitement. It's about endurance. It's about giving your money a chance to keep up with life. Cash is for near-term stability. Investing is for long-term purchasing power. Let me say that again in a different way. The main job of cash is to be there when you need it soon, without drama. The main job of investing is to help your money grow enough so that 5, 10, or 15 years from now, you can still buy groceries, cover health care, and enjoy life, even though prices are higher by then. Many people get hurt because they mix those jobs up. They put way too much money in cash, far beyond what they're likely to need in the next few years, and they feel safe. Then 10 years go by. Prices are 20, 30, 40% higher or more, and they realize that their safe choice quietly costs them. On the flip side, some people treat investing like a casino. They jump in when the market is hot, they jump out when it falls, and they repeat that over and over. That isn't investing, that's reacting, and it's exhausting. There's a wonderful line from Warren Buffett: the stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. That doesn't mean you should go out and buy random stocks. It means that over time, those who stay calm, who have a plan, who understand why they're invested, tend to do better than those who panic and chase headlines. If you are over 50, patience and calm are your greatest assets. You do not have to win every year. You just have to avoid big unnecessary mistakes and give your money a chance to grow over the long run. So let's bring this down to something very practical. You might be thinking, okay, George, I get it. Cash loses power over time. Investing is to help me keep up with inflation. But what do I actually do? I'm going to walk you through a very simple concept I call the 3 buckets. No complex math, no percentages, just a way of thinking about your money so it has a clear purpose. Each dollar needs a job. When each dollar has a job, you feel more in control. The first bucket is what I call your emergency cash buffer, or your sleep well money. This is the money that lets you put your head on the pillow at night without worrying that one surprise bill is going to knock you over. This bucket sits in cash or very safe, very liquid places. You don't chase returns here. You don't try to beat the market here. This is the money for car repairs, a new water heater, a sudden medical bill, helping a family member in a pinch. For many people, this might be several months of essential expenses, maybe more if it helps you sleep. The point is not the exact number. The point is that you know deep down, if something goes wrong this year, I can handle it without selling investments at a bad time. The second bucket is your near-term needs bucket. Think of the money you know you'll need in, say, the next 3 to 5 years. Maybe it's money to supplement Social Security. Maybe it's money for upcoming home repairs you're planning, like a new roof. Maybe it's to help a child or grandchild in a specific way. This bucket should still focus on stability, but it doesn't all have to sit in plain cash. It might include more conservative investments, less up and down movement, things that are designed more for preservation than growth. Again, I'm not telling you exactly what to buy. I'm giving you a way to think. This bucket is about keeping the next few years of life as stable and predictable as possible. The third bucket is where most people over 50 are weak, and yet it's the one that protects your future the most. This is your long-term growth bucket. This is money you don't expect to touch for 10 years or more. This is the part that needs to work harder so you can fight that silent inflation bill. For many folks, this looks like broadly diversified funds such as index funds or exchange-traded funds that spread your money across many companies instead of betting everything on one or two ideas. When you own a wide slice of the economy, you're not trying to outsmart Wall Street. You're simply allowing your money to grow along with the world over time. There's another quote from Warren Buffett that fits here. Diversification is protection against ignorance. In simple language, that means don't put too much of your future on one single thing. Spread your risk. If one company or one sector struggles, others can help balance it out. For a lot of people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, this is a very comforting idea. You don't need to pick the next big winner. You just need to avoid putting everything in one place. Now, when you think in terms of these three buckets, sleep well cash, near-term needs, and long-term growth, suddenly cash has a clear role. It's not the hero and it's not the villain. It's one tool. Your emergency bucket is cash heavy. Your near-term bucket might be partly cash, partly conservative investments. Your long-term bucket is where growth-focused, diversified investments live. Each dollar in your life has a job title. And when each dollar has a job, you can look at your accounts and say, okay, this money is my cushion. This money is for the next few years. This money is quietly fighting inflation for my future. That clarity alone reduces a lot of fear. Let's talk for a moment about some of the danger zones so you can avoid stepping into them, especially over age 50. Remember, at this stage in life, you don't need drama, you need durability. Mistake number one is panic selling when markets drop. Picture this. The news is shouting about a market fall, your account balance is down, and your stomach flips. It's natural to feel that. But if you sell in a panic, you turn a temporary drop into a permanent loss. This is where your buckets help. If you know your emergency and near-term money is safe and separate, you can let the long-term bucket ride through the storm. Mistake number two is falling for guaranteed high returns pitches. If someone promises you high returns with no risk, slow down. At your stage of life, you are a prime target for smooth talkers and complicated products that sound safe but carry hidden fees, restrictions, or risks you don't fully understand. Your biggest advantage is not chasing something that sounds too good to be true. Simple is often safer. If you can't explain in a sentence how something works and why you own it, be careful. Mistake number three is putting too much into one stock or one tip. Maybe it's a company a friend at church mentioned or something your neighbor swears will take off. It can feel exciting to have a hot tip, but excitement is not a retirement strategy. If a large chunk of your life savings depends on one company, one sector, or one trend, you are taking more risk than you may realize. Again, this is where treating each dollar as an employee with a job comes in. You would never let one employee run your entire business with no backup plan. Don't let one idea carry your whole future either. Another helpful line from Buffett is this: be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy only when others are fearful. Translated for you and me, that means don't get swept up in the crowd when everybody seems to be making easy money, and don't abandon your plan just because people are panicking. At 50 plus, emotional control may be more valuable than any single investment pick. You've learned in life that staying calm through storms matters. The same is true in investing. So what can you actually do today, before you go to bed tonight, to start getting out of the too much cash mistake and into a more thoughtful, protected position? Let's walk through a simple exercise together. Grab a piece of paper and a pen. At the top of the page, write this question: what is this money for? Not how much do I have? Not what's the market doing? Just what is this money for? Now draw 3 sections on that page. In the first section, write next 12 months. In the second, 3 to 5 years. In the third, 10 plus years. Don't worry about being perfect. Just start listing. Under next 12 months, write down the things you know you'll need to cover. Basic living expenses, any big purchases you already see coming, maybe a small trip. This connects directly to your emergency and near-term buckets. Under 3 to 5 years, write down things that may not be this year but are on the horizon. Home repairs, helping a grandchild with school, maybe downsizing or moving. Under 10 plus years, write your longer-term life, staying in your home, healthcare, staying independent, leaving something behind for family or for a cause you care about. What you're doing here is creating a bucket list for your money, not a portfolio yet, just a sense of purpose. You're telling your money what you expect from it. And once you have that on paper, it becomes much easier to see how much should really sit in pure cash, how much needs to be safe but working a little, and how much should be given a chance to grow over the long run. Remember, every dollar needs a job. Dollars with no job tend to sit around and lose strength to inflation. If you go through this exercise and you feel overwhelmed, that's okay. You do not have to do this alone. One option is to talk with a fiduciary financial advisor, someone whose legal duty is to put your interests first. That word, fiduciary, is important. It means they are obligated to act in your best interest, not just sell you products. When you meet with anyone about your money, ask them plainly, "Are you a fiduciary at all times with my accounts?" And if the answer is confusing or slippery, that's information. You can walk away. There are professionals out there who will sit with you, look at your buckets, look at your "what is this money for" list, and help you line things up in a way that fits your life, your health, and your comfort level. Before we wrap up, I want to share one more quote that I love from investor Peter Lynch. Know what you own and know why you own it. For you, that might start with knowing how much you have in cash and why. If your honest answer is, "I just feel safer that way," that's a good starting point, not a failure. From there, you can ask, how much of this cash truly needs to be ready in the next year or two? And how much could be working quietly for my future instead of shrinking against inflation? If you've watched this far, you're already ahead of most people. You now understand that the number one retirement mistake for many folks over 50 is holding too much cash and calling it safety, when in reality, inflation is slowly swindling that safety away. You've seen how everyday bills, groceries, car insurance, property taxes, utilities, prescriptions are where that silent inflation bill shows up. You've heard a simple way to think about your money in 3 buckets: sleep well cash, near-term needs, and long-term growth. And you've taken the first step toward giving every dollar you have a clear job. Now I want to hear from you. In the comments, tell me this. Which bucket do you think you've ignored the most? Emergency, near-term, or long-term growth? And what is one thing you want your money to do for you in the next 10 years? Maybe it's staying in your home, maybe it's traveling a bit, maybe it's helping your grandkids. Share it below. Your comment might encourage someone else who feels alone in this. If you found this helpful, please share this video with a friend, a spouse, or a sibling who is also over 50 and worried about retirement. Many people your age are quietly scared and sitting on too much cash because no one has ever explained this to them in plain English. You can be the one who helps them see a better way. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to George Edward Explains and hit the like button so more folks in our age group see this message. This channel exists to help you protect your lifestyle, your dignity, and your choices, without panic, without jargon, and without games. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Remember, your money isn't disappearing. It's getting weaker if it just sits. But with a calm plan, clear buckets, and a focus on what your money is really for, you can make it strong again for the years ahead.